Umuokpu Anambra nọ na mba na-ekene unu ndọma ndị ji ofu emife ndị Chukwu fụrụ n'anya ndị otelude ndị ọma adazunu dị iche o anyị na-aga iso chendo
and say, please, can you turn it around in 5 days? 1 week goes by, nothing. 2 weeks, nothing. 3 weeks, nothing. Now, what do you think my perception of Hadia will be? She's not rebellious, I mean, or she's not serious, or she's not one that you can count on. I go to Ogo, I need you to turn around this document in 5 days. 3 days later, I get a call from her, and she says, I sent you the document. How do you think I will start judging or the decision I will make towards her? So this is what MPTI, the mother and daughter, they came up with. They said almost every action or event is guided by how you perceive it. That determines how you judge or what decision you make. And so they came up with the 16, and they are not distinct. Please remember, because I've taken the MBTI test so many times over my career, my life career, and sometimes I find myself as ESTJ, which is extrovert, sensitive, thinking, and judging. But in some situations, because of an event, I find myself falling into ENTJ or E. So it really could differ. But there are some that remain constant. And what are these personalities? The first one is extrovert. It's very self-explanatory. Person who is outgoing and all of that. Maya Briggs, the mother and daughter, are saying that extroverts are energized by the people, they enjoy a variety of tasks, they are very quick paced, they are good at multitasking. The second type of personality, those they call sensors. These are realistic people who like to focus on the facts and the details. They apply common sense and past experience to find practical solutions. The thinkers tend to make their decisions using logical analysis. Objectively, they weigh the pros and cons, the values, the honesty. The judges, they tend to be organized and prepared, like to make and stick to plans, and are comfortable and following most. There are times when I see myself as a judge, and some people may not think it's a good thing. In some circumstances, it can be a good thing. But the important thing is not what you find yourself as. It is how you can manage what you are and what other people are, recognizing that as a diversity and bringing good out of it. So that's why it's important to remember no one single personality type is superior or good or better than the other. No. I've told you that in some situations, I'm very extroverted as a core element of my personality. But there are places when I come out now, I can use them. I will rarely go into a party. So, in that instance, I become introverted. So the other personalities, the introverts, as the letter says, they are people who like working alone or in small groups. I know some people who are like that. I can tell you that Stella Emuka, for instance, is very introverted. I'm not. She's probably the kind who would wait until that last minute and still get the job done. But no, for me, I like to have done that job like 3 days ago, know that I have it in my pocket. Now, I'm not better than her because she still gets the job done. But our approaches are different. So the ability of Maria managing Stella and myself is what will make her a good leader. Yes. So that's what we need to always remember. No one personality is better than the other. Intuitives, these are people who prefer to focus on possibilities and the big picture. They see patterns, they value innovation. They want something new, and they see creative solutions. Somebody like me, I may not see creative solution. I want to do that old one that I'm used to. I beg you. I don't want to start looking. It doesn't make me any bad. And those who seek new solutions and still get the job done, it doesn't make them bad. The important thing is to remember that your focus must be on the goal, the mission of the team or the group. You have the feelers. The feelers tend to be sensitive and cooperative, and they decide based on their own personal values. Sometimes I may not be a feeler. Sometimes I am. So it really depends. The perceivers. The perceivers are people who prefer to keep their options open. They like to be able to act spontaneously. In some situations, I can act spontaneous, but naturally, my core element is not to act spontaneous. No. I'm more of that traditional, that one that I'm used to. Because it's a safe environment for me. But none of this is better than the other. It just captures differences, uniqueness, and diversity. This is what MBTI is saying. How you perceive it would help you to decide or to judge. So if you remember this, always remember that no one single personality is better than the other. Let me stop here and ask you to please take not more than 5 minutes to go through that question. And please circle your answer. There's no right or wrong answer. I would only take time while you're on lunch break, because we're going to be breaking for lunch soon. I will only take time to assess each personality, and I'm not going to give you back the paper so you won't know who did what, but to be able to extrapolate and tell you the kinds of personalities that you have, so that you will then know how you manage yourselves together. And there's only teaching. People, take 5 minutes. Take 5 minutes and don't put in too much time. It's not an exam question. Nobody's passing, nobody's failing. Just circle either yes or no or maybe or whatever. And if you have completed yours, raise your hand, we'll pick it up. No right or wrong answer. It just captures diversity and uniqueness. We're coming to the end of this segment so that at least we can stretch our legs, eat something, and then return. And I will be analyzing this while your short lunch break is coming up. Usually when we administer the test, we do it individual analysis, but I won't bother so that people don't think I'm going to showcase them, even though I have said no one personality is constant and no one personality is right or superior. Ade zulu DJ. So just to recap and bring this session to this first segment to an end. When you do this and do the analysis, you find that somebody can be an INTJ, which means intuitive, introvert, N, intuitive, and then T for thinking or judging. Or the person can be introvert, intuitive, thinking, or perceiving. So it really depends. I mean, you see the classifications there. There are about 16 of them. And circumstances or events can make you become either ENTP or ENFJ or ISFJ or ESTP. No one single one is more superior than the other. Just bear that in mind. And the last slide on this segment, just to recap, remember the general rule: no one personality is better. No personality is constant because an event or an environment can cause you. Somebody, for instance, who you think, I guess I'll come to you just 1 second. Somebody who you think might be a dominant person who feels like they don't show emotion. You find that person, he or she gets to a place where somebody dies and you find that person crying like a baby. That's an event, changing that person's personality. So that's why I want you to remember, no one personality is constant. An event or an action, or even words that you speak to someone can change the person. I always tell her that, I was telling Muga that she is usually calm. I'm not naturally calm as a person. It doesn't make me bad. That she is naturally a calm person doesn't make her better than me or make me better than her. But these are the traits of our personalities. But you can find that in a situation where maybe somebody gets upset. Let's say I will use an in-law. The chair of the committee is an in-law. You find two of them, that telemoker that you think doesn't talk. One day you see her charged up. So an event. And I remember something that happened one day, and a friend of mine said, just because they think I'm a fool. Let me show them who I am. So something you say to someone can actually make that person react in a way that you never thought was possible. So remember that. The only constant is change. And that's why I told her don't ever say you can't change, even with your voice. You can do it. The only thing that is constant in life is change. Everything is possible if you put your mind to it. What is important to all of you and what I want you to remember, understand, and embrace that we are all different, that we all have values, that we all have talents, that we all have skills. I gave you an example, Abacha. I gave example, sweet. I know that Anambra people now go Abacha, but there's almost a common belief that something's got to be wrong. And I have my darling friend over there. I go to her house, without shame I will say it. I go to evening, I say, evening Abacha, and she starts laughing. That's because I do make Abacha, but I don't make it as good as her. And I've told you that when it comes to competition, I don't know why. If there's anybody who makes opera and wants to compete with me too, I'm willing to. Opera soon. I will beat you. And when it comes to Salah, same thing. I will compete with you. I will compete with you. I'm very honest. But I'm saying this only because I want to really highlight the fact that we all have different skills and talents. And so there is not so but let's value all the different traits and skills within each of us. Remember, it is not about you. Crystal diamond, you may be diamond, but it's not about you. You're royal, it's not about you. It's about us. Again, So it's about the group. It's about the team. Remember that if you take nothing away. And what is important is that you have to learn to manage those differences, and you manage it by being self-aware. Remember the emotional intelligence that we spoke about. Your strategy or your approach is very key. I have told you, on the ball, mouth is fight. But it doesn't mean that it's not this fight. It's actually what comes out of your mouth. How it comes out is what is likely to cause fight. So your strategy, your approach, inclusiveness, do not form cliques. If this was created as it's not about you, it's about us, it's about the team, it's about Otu Umuokpu. The 80%, 80-20% rule of leadership, that your members should input 80% while you as a leader or the chair of a committee should only bring in 20%, because that create trust, do no harm, focus on the team, don't walk alone. When you delegate something to somebody, don't keep looking over their shoulder. Now, I will start with what I have mentioned before, that if you truly want, because we're going into leadership now, Bill Clinton, and I'm not sure he was the one that said it, but this quote is attributed to him. He said, lead by the power of your example and not by the example of your power. If you read through it well, you will understand. Lead by the power of your example. So it's the example that people should look at, and not by the example of your power. And just to interject very quickly, Temi, please, can you please share with me what you shared at the end of the other segment? Really, 2 minutes.
Oh, great. my time starts counting now. So, good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, so just to let you know, I shared with her that in terms of emotional awareness, in terms of different kind of personalities, that while I was in college, I read a book that talks about why you act the way you act, and that book was published by Tim Lahari, and then that talks about the 4 different personalities that was eventually broken down into 16, all in all. So just to affirm to what she said, and then everybody, even for me now, I'm still a work in progress in terms of getting to know people and how people react. That definitely is going to make me react to them that way. And then when I clocked 40, I bought for myself Emotional Intelligence 2.0, and then I took the Emotional Intelligence test, because at the end of the book, I scored 78, which was in between not too good, not too bad. But either way, from that time on, it gave me the awareness, my environmental awareness. It gave me that opportunity to be able to see people from different perspectives. And the guy gave me the opportunity to know people, even talking to them in the next 30 minutes, I get to have a glimpse of who they are. And because I have that kind of perspective, then I can relate with you based on the kind of person you are, and that really help you. So that's exactly what I want to share with you.
Thank you, sir. I hear that affirmation. I mean, I'm only making him here, but I want you people to know that these things exist and it does impact on people. Particularly when we spoke about, how loud we are, you can do it. When you become self-aware, you begin to actually train yourself. I was telling somebody that sometimes I share with people that I'm a very honest person, at least I try to be. Sometimes when you run into someone and they say to you, she's behaving or he's behaving like they didn't give him home training or this. It's almost as if we're passing all the blame on parents. Parents do what they can. But there is a point in life for any man or woman where you have to train yourself. And the biggest example I give to people is when my mother had us, there was nothing like fried rice or salad even. The kind of salad we had was uba or abacha. But at the point when I then got into the bigger cities and the world was beginning to fast change, I learned fried rice. It wasn't my mother that taught me. She taught me the basic food that we normally cook. So that's training yourself. And this happens in other things. And that's why your voice, because you're in Rome, you learn to behave like Romans. And as I was sharing with you that if I know what I know now, that job, I may not have walked away from it. Because I learned to play the game better than that. I'll give you an example. And I remember I said that everybody on earth is born with some level of prejudice or bias. But your ability to manage it is what makes you a good person or a bad person. And there are people that you come into a place, most of us, some may be lucky, I don't know, but most of us, when we move abroad, like most of us have done, if you challenge them, especially with our skin, they'll tell you you are aggressive. Right? But when it's a white woman challenging you, they say she's assertive. Yes. So that's why we have to make that, unfortunately, extra effort. So let's get into leadership. And I'm going to tell you, share some of the posts. I guess they teaching. I'll share some of the posts that people have, very public figures have shared that really captures my idea of what makes good leadership. This one is unknown. Trust is the foundation of leadership. I can't emphasize this enough. If you lack trust in your relationship with people, you can't be a good leader. So begin to learn, like I said, it's a currency. It's like the dollar or the naira or the Japanese yen. Learn to build trust within your group. If you keep forming cliques, the ones who don't you're creating deficit. And they'll be the ones to create difficulty for you. So trust is key. It's the foundation of leadership. The bottom line in leadership isn't how far you advance yourself every time you want to come out. It's about how far you advance every time. And that's why I like you. I didn't Zulu DJ. I ain't You don't hear one person say Muna Gisu. It's always Ani. Ani means us. Right? The interaction between the leader and the follower is a relationship. And relationships either add or subtract. That's the truth. If I'm friends with you now and I realize that your influence on me is not helping me, that's a subtraction. After a while, I start worrying. If you call me on the phone, I may not answer. Or if I answer, I'll say, let me call you back. And I'll never call you back. So every relationship, even between the leader and the follower, is like that. If it doesn't add, it's subtracting. And if it's subtracting, if that relationship has a purpose or a goal, you're not likely to achieve that purpose or the goal. Bear that in mind. Archbishop Desmond Tutu, bless his soul, on that concept from South Africa, Ubuntu, which is togetherness, he said, we think of ourselves as just individuals separated from one another. But it isn't true, because we are connected, and what you do affects the whole world. When you do well, it spreads out. It is for the whole of humanity. And this is exactly what Ubuntu is all about. It's a reminder that no one is an island. Every single thing that you do, good or bad, has an effect on your family, on friends, or your society, or your group. It also reminds us that we need to think twice about the choices we make and the kind of impact they may have on others. And I'll quickly give you a story. I don't care about people's sexuality. I try not to judge. It's difficult because sometimes I find myself judging. But I had colleagues at one point. Of course. There are people who in a group, when they perceive, again we go to perception, what it will make them do is they recoil. Everything happening, they will just come and become yes members. That's all they do. But that's because of the choice or the decision or the action of somebody in that group. So you all have to remember, it's not about you. It's about us. Always remember that. In your decision, in your choices. If you agree then that we are connected, as Desmond Tutu says in Ubuntu, there's a need to think before you act, speak, or do. It is critical to think of how your speech or your action will impact other people within an organization like Otu. So what is leadership? Simple. It's the ability to influence others through inspiration, positive example, or persuasion. None of this says dictate. Your ability to influence through what? Inspiration, inspiring people. It's a good thing. It's not about dominating or saying, no, it must be my way or highway. That's what leadership is all about. The world, your community, organizations, groups such as Otu can be changed, but only by the example that you give, not by your opinion. Remember that. I want to show you a video on leadership, but I may skip it in the interest of time. If we have time, we'll come back to that video, please. So the leader is one who, I said this earlier, out of a clutter. You know what is clutter? When it's all scattered. That leader sees opportunity, not difficult times. A good leader, a transformed leader, is one who will see out of clutter. They can see opportunity to do what? To clean up, to clear up. That's why I remember saying to the others, don't already say deviant. It is difficult, but within this culture that is here now, I want to see it as an opportunity for me to do what? Clean up. That's what a good leader is. And this is Albert Einstein. Out of discord, you create harmony. Out of difficulty, you find opportunity. It is better to lead other people from behind and put others in front of you. Especially when it's time to celebrate. When nice things happen. That's what Nelson Mandela. And that's why he's a servant leader. You will rarely find Mandela. I mean, those few dance steps you see is almost when he's compelled or forced to do so. Because his belief is that it is best if you truly want to be a servant leader, one who is humble, you lead from behind. It doesn't have to be you standing and saying, I'm the leader here. No. Already when you do that, there's pride, there's ego. And when pride and ego shows up, you almost become a dictator. And that's part of the challenge we have at home. I don't know if some of you saw a WhatsApp video that has been trending 2-3 days now. A lady from Senegal or so ran into the Prime Minister of Netherlands along the street. Yes. How many of us can run into who should I mention now? Local government. How many would we? First you hear siren, and the soldiers are beating people up. But this was the Prime Minister, which is like the president. Walking, and even when the girl was videoing him, he was still laughing and saying, oh yes. That's a servant leader. That's the difference. Our own is 50 cars siren. Soldiers are fucking you. That's why, do we now understand why we have leadership problems at home? You need to have examples. When I saw that video, it gave me so much joy. The Prime Minister of God. And that woman, by the way, is a black woman. Right? Yes. But you still saw how he was smiling at her and talking as if, this isn't that. That's a servant leader. That's a transformational leader. Compare that to the ones we have at home. So the challenge of leadership is to be strong. Yes, be strong, but not rude. Be strong, but not rude. Be kind, but not weak. Be bold, but don't be a bully. You remember the last 45th president, Mr. Trump. We all remember what it was like. How he would insult people, even the not so able or differently able person. You see how the tables are turning now. You all remember when he was saying, lock her up, lock her up. Right now he's being indicted, correct? So be a leader that is bold, but don't bully people. Be thoughtful, not lazy. Be humble, not timid. Nelson Mandela wasn't timid. He wasn't timid, but he was humble. And that's why it's attributed to him to be a servant leader. Be proud, but not arrogant. And there's a thin line that comes between proud and arrogant. Osibete, for instance, is from a royal family. But if she comes out strutting all the time, I'm royal queen, princess, that's arrogance. That's arrogance. So it is important for you to be proud as an address, but you don't have to be arrogant to make your point. These are, I'm gradually throwing out characteristics or qualities that make a good leader, but from the quote of a person. Keep your fears to yourself, but share your courage with others. Remember, every day is a new opportunity. And so in the next couple of slides, we're going to be looking at leadership, highlighting some of the challenges, some of the strategies, which some have already shared through examples, the vision, hopefully vision of Umuokpu, management, the goal, the teamwork. I have continuously said this about us, not, and motivate, because that's what a good leader does. Now, there are several types of leaders. I would, right now there's about 9 of them, but I will focus on 1 or 2. And this will be the transformational leader and the servant leader. But just to run through quickly, the coach is one who motivates. And nearly all of them have good values in them. The visionary leader is interested in progress and focused on progress. So he also inspires. The servant leader is the humble and the protective one. A good example is Nelson Mandela. The autocratic is the one who's authoritarian, my way or the highway. Even though they are producing results, but it doesn't matter. You're hurting people in the process of achieving that result. You are not autocratic leader. It's not the best way. Remember our definition of leadership. Your ability to influence through persuasion, example, or inspiration, not through autocratic means. The next one is laissez-faire or hands-on. Also very autocratic. They will delegate, but their hands are still there. So they give Maria a job, and instead of Maria doing it, they will call Maria 10 times and say, Maria, have you done that thing? Have you done that thing? Your hands are still there. You're not giving that person the opportunity. So you're creating doubts in the person's capacity or ability. The democratic, of course, democracy is one that we have argued over the years, but it's actually a supportive one if the system is running very well. The pace setter is a helpful one, it's almost like the coach, motivates you. The transformational one is the one that brings change. Even when they see clutter, they will bring change out of it. They see opportunity. The transactional one, best example for me is Donald Trump. And some of us are like that. Yes, we get to use ourselves. That's what relationships. You do something for me, I do for you. But there are some that if they don't see something they are going to get out of you, they won't do anything for you. That's a transactional leader. That's what Donald Trump, that's how he works. Or that's how he is. Everything is a transaction. And life doesn't have to be like that. Because you can help me today, and maybe my repaying you without even knowing that repaying might happen in 5 years now. So you invest in relationships. You don't know when the reward might come. Yes, I guess.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
So, because what you just said, you said when you dedicate a job to somebody and you're calling, have you done that, maybe your hand is getting there. So my question is, there's some people, when you dedicate a job to them, they will do it, you don't follow up. So in that situation, are you saying that our hand is still there and start or what?
No. If you dedicate to someone, let's say you have had an experience with a person that you dedicated a job and they don't get it done. And then if you're following up with them, you have every reason to do so. But there are people, I'm speaking about people who, because of their personality, they are that kind that want to dominate. They dedicate a job, they haven't tested you before, you have never failed them before, but because of the personality they have, they won't let you get that job done peacefully. And what they are trying to do is really because they are that kind of dominating type that don't believe anybody else can get it done. Sometimes they don't realize they are doing it. Sometimes they don't. But if you have tried and tested somebody and they failed you, and you don't, and then you dedicate to them again, you have every reason to follow up and remind them. You do. But if you have not tested the person, okay, I don't know you, but then I say, I didn't say, fill up this bottle of water. Before you even get to the door, accountability both on the follower and on the leader. Everything I've spoken today about emotional intelligence is not about just the leader, but also remember, everybody is a leader. Because even though you have Umuokpu and you have president and this and that, how about tomorrow you become the president? How about right now that your president decides, I'm going to set up a strategy group that will help us to look at the way forward. And the plenary group, your whole Umuokpu decides, you be the leader of that strategy group. Automatically you become a leader. But everything, both the emotional intelligence of self-awareness, is not just about the president or vice president or PR or financial secretary. No, it's about everybody. We all have to be self-aware, self-motivate. It's a process. And if you're not ready for it, and tomorrow Umuokpu decides, okay, you are going to become the president, when will you learn then self-awareness and motivation? You start there? No. We all have to self-train. It's a process for everybody. There is responsibility and accountability both on the follower and on the leader. And the leader is only a temporary thing because the follower today can become the leader tomorrow. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
So we have these kinds of, leadership. The bureaucratic is very hierarchical. And the best example I can give of the bureaucratic is the northern system. In northern Nigeria, the emirs, they almost like laws. If you know, I believe you lived up in the north, Osibete. And she can attest to the fact that the Kalakawas, they don't really think about anything, but in the evening like this, they show up at the Madam's or Alhaji's house and eat the food to their field, and that's it. That's it. That's the kind of that's an example of bureaucratic leadership. And they have advantages, but they are not the best. Pareto principle, remember, for the sake of equality, fairness, and because it's about us, not you, if you are a leader that has been appointed, those who appointed you should bring 80% of the ideas. You as the leader should bring in only 20%. And this is not a very encouraging thing, and I'll point it out. It's not very encouraging. I find it very disrespectful. It also shows that perhaps it's okay. It also shows that some of the members are not really interested. And in this context, let me also use this opportunity to say it. I spent time and I told somebody that if it hadn't been for Sterling Walker and the chair of the committee, because I was liaising with them, at a point I wasn't going to do this. Please don't get me wrong. It's not about the money, that I don't like money or that. But the fact that I have seen challenges dealing with our people. If we are committed, if you want commitment that will grow results for you, and if you truly want your organization to be unique and stand out, and not just that, and I'm not just speaking about Umuokpu now, not just that all you do is every 2 or 3 months you cook jollof rice and eat chicken and this and that, then you need to invest, not just training, but in ideas and all that. And you need to show commitment. So if we go back to Pareto, Pareto principle says, let the leader that has been appointed put in only 20% and the rest of the group do 80%. That's what makes a good leader. Because then you're creating that inclusiveness so that everybody feels like they are part of the group. But if as a leader you come out and say, oh, I've decided that strategy group. And let's nominate based on people's talents, not based on your clique or those that will become your yes member. No. Look at people's talents and skills. Then you are being serious about running and growing an organization. And then you will nominate people and put it to a vote. That way everybody will feel that they have contributed and they are part of the process. But if people come, there are some people who will come and say, what's my business? I bet when it's time I need food, I just want to come out. Then it becomes a social club. But that's not my understanding. And the reason I raise this is when I created, I spent my time to create questions. And let me show my gratitude. Only 4 people in this group responded. I found that very disrespectful, with all due respect to all of you. And as a consultant, I don't think that what I charge your organization, I'm going to say it today so that you all hear. It's not my daily rate, it's not my hourly rate. I did that because I also wanted to share that sisterhood, that because my work doesn't allow me to integrate myself into associations like this, let this be a way that I can share some of the knowledge that I have learned. I circulated questions, gave 28 days. Chair, are you here? Or welcome, you're here. We gave 28 days. 4 people out of your 65 members responded. For me, it didn't show commitment. But we carried on. And that's going to teach you. You will not spend time on that. It happened. And believe me, it happened. So the same types of leaders, I've also raised up. The democratic leader bases his decisions on inputs from everybody. The autocratic leader, his decisions come from a single source because he thinks his way or the highway. The laissez-faire decisions come from an individual employee. Usually they are king, the one they like. They favor one person or 2. The strategic leadership bases decisions on strategy and goals. So sometimes people don't matter to them, just the strategy. Transformational, that's what we're all hoping, including myself, that you become the kind of leader who will keep pushing people, no matter the obstacles, no matter the difficulties that you find. So even when there is clutter, like Nelson Mandela did, after 27 years, I'm being honest with you, I don't know whether I would have had the kind of heart that he had before him. But that's what a transformational leader does. And recall that I gave you an example with my uncle Bob. The transactional, everything is a transaction. We know who that is. The coach, the bureaucratic, the visionary works on the vision and the situational. So, the qualities of the leader, the good leader. The good leader is a problem solver. I can't overemphasize the fact that, yes, there are difficulties, it's a clutter, it's supportive. Provide support to the members. And the members also provide support to a good leader. That's how the results will be achieved. A good leader also is inspirational. Inspires you. You look forward to listening to that leader or working with that leader because you draw inspiration from the leader. A good leader is very honest and transparent. Not muchi here, muchi there. A good leader must be honest, almost like a page, an open page, transparent, accountable, highly committed, showing commitment to the goal, the mission of it. It's about us, not you. A good leader shows passion. A good leader is reflective. And I will speak about this when I get into M&E, because we are all imperfect beings, including myself. And that's why I charged you when I started this saying, please don't turn this into a one affair. You must seriously consider, do a when you're done at one of your meetings. And I'll share some of the 4 people that responded. I am totally grateful to you because I learned some of the things that helped me to draw up recommendations. I'm not going to mention their names, you know who you are. I truly am grateful to you. Good consultants can give you, and I know that so many of you are pharmacists here, so I will borrow your term, generic and whatever you call the other drugs. A consultant can give you, thank you, a consultant can give you generic solutions. But there is something about being specific. And there's no way, since I'm an outsider, I'm not an Otu Umuokpu member, there's no way I would have been able to come up with some of the recommendations I did. But for those 4 people that responded, and honestly, I decided, I gave a couple of people calls. One of them stopped me in my track, and I refused to make further calls. And there were 2 people I was supposed to call back, my apologies. I also had to work on my own emotion. So I resorted to working with the committee. So it was the 4 people who responded, and some of the committee members. I already said to you on one occasion, I reached out to Hajia because I know she would answer me. Even if she shouts at me, which she doesn't, she would answer. I could not have been able to make specific recommendations that I feel, based on my experience and expertise, that would make Umuokpu to grow if I didn't have those responses from these people. So please consider it seriously. If you're serious about growing this organization, I mean, you're not just going to be dancing. And I love your the song, by the way. I love it so much. If you want to stand out and be ahead of the others, and actually make something out of this organization, then you've got to show serious commitment. You have to invest in yourself, not just training. I will give you examples towards the end with recommendations. You have to integrate yourself into the environment where you are. The only way your presence can be felt is by what you do. For instance, I've had situations where, when I lived in Rwanda, investigating rape and sexual assault, a Yoruba girl who housed me when I first got there, because the UN doesn't allow you to rent a house in certain areas. Because right at the time, it was just 2 years after the genocide had happened. So some areas were classified not safe for us. If anything happened to you, the UN will not pay your family insurance. So this lady, Lola would hold 9 vigils in her house every last Friday or something like that. You know, she called me one day and said, by the way, we work here. I know you do this. I know your company can do that. Join us for fellowship. But beyond fellowship, her own initiative, she started rehabilitating young prostitutes, female prostitutes. Now, these were young girls who war, the genocide in Rwanda had forced into prostitution. It was the only way to survive. Don't judge them. I leave them. It was one of the places where, for the first time in my life, I realized that a man could sleep with a 6-month-old child.
What?
It happens in our country, so don't snap your fingers so quickly. It was one of the places where I was dealing with young girls who I was investigating so I could draw up indictments for the tribunal sitting in Arusha, Tanzania. And one of the girls I was dealing with had been raped by about 47 men in a period of 2 weeks. Now, it became difficult for me, even with my spirituality, to cancel that girl. What do you tell a girl that was raped by 47 men in a space of 2 weeks? And so, let me take you all the stories. I'm not telling you just so that we snap fingers and things. Okay, you step out there and you run into a Rwandese who now lives in Houston. If you're not emotionally aware, you don't know where that person, what the person has been through in life. That's why emotional intelligence is good, not just for your organization, but for your relationship with people, because you don't know what they have been through. 72 or so, they said he went back to university and finished the first degree that he started like 45 years ago. So anything is possible if you will it. Where there's a will, there's a way. So these are the things that we always have to remember as human beings. A good leader must be reflective. Reflect the environment around you. Be emotionally intelligent. Be creative. Don't be one that says, oh, because you're wearing white pants and you like white pants, it must be white pants. No. Be open. Be creative. And look for people. I keep saying it. Osibeze, ikamogunogo, ikaromogo. It is true. You can't have it all. If we remember that, then embrace diversity, that we are all different, but we all bring different things to the table. That should be the mindset that the members of Umuokpu should carry. If you truly want to grow this organization, have good leaders. The leader today will become a follower tomorrow, and the follower today becomes a leader tomorrow. Yeah. And I have spoken about trust. But one of the things that is also key, which I spoke in the first segment, TLC, when I spoke about team, I spoke about communication. It's very key. And I use Bongo and the way you speak to people. Communication is so key. How you speak to people. Be aware of interrupting people. We do it a lot. Somebody is speaking, we start speaking. It's disrespectful. Keep the conversation going amongst yourself. Don't gossip. Don't do backroom gossip. Respect people's time, respect people's personality. Listen attentively. Use positive statements. Don't keep I have a sister who lives in Chicago. My mother was a very deeply spiritual. The two Catholic churches in Romania, if they put 5 blocks down to start it, my mother was probably one of the people who put one of the blocks. So they know her. She would tell you, my mother wasn't very educated at primary 4. Her parents pulled her out and said, when you don't have enough money, your brothers have to go. That thing hurt her so much that she made sure her 10 children, 5 boys, 5 girls, if you didn't make it through college and go through PhD or whatever, she would tell you, you're not my child. Even in her 60s, she went back to adult education. I used to laugh at her. One day she came home and said, a beggar have no shoes. I said, hey, am I so bad? But why am I saying it? It isn't, nothing is impossible. If you put your mind to it, if you will it, you can do it. But in those groups, my mom will first tell you that even though she didn't go to school, when they go to meetings in Enugu, or you walk now, Michael will call her and say, what do you have to say? That's how I knew the name we bought in Amado for the first time, because my mom used it. And before you say anything, you say, look, ask Adam Okara, which was Otema Okara's wife. I taught her how to drive because I'm the first woman who drove a car in this town. That's what my mother would tell you. But it didn't stop her from saying, you see this Christian mother, it's not about me. She will make sure, especially the younger women, you come in, she will call you, cancel you, and then end of every year, she will tell them, all the executive members, you're stepping down because we want new people. We want everybody to learn the skills. So this is something that you all have to bear in mind. Respect is reciprocal. Give everybody a fair chance. Let everybody feel like they are part of the organization. if you were given the chance to describe Umuokpu, think of one word that you use to describe Umuokpu. And for each table, what I want you to do is write 5 to 10 words. If you can't write up to 10, that's fine, but everybody on the table must contribute. I've already written Umuokpu on the paper. So just, if you had one word to describe Umuokpu, what would that be as it is today, or as you want it to be? If you had one word, try and write 5 to 10. So going back to this, communication is very key. It's very important. Just one on each table. Are there any pictures? Let's do this now because I have to continue. Otherwise, we're already running past 2 o'clock. The key to progress is transformation. You don't have to do this now so you can pay attention. Let me get through the slides. You don't have to do this now. We can do this. It's not something that will take us a lot of time, please. I guess you will be. I need some attention. I'm one person who loves attention. So if we're talking about Umuokpu, the key to progress and transformation, motivation. Everybody needs to feel accountable. Everybody needs to feel what? Accountable. That Umuokpu is yours. And that you're going to show commitment and do everything to make sure that the goals, the objectives of the mission of Umuokpu is realized. Formal and informal accountability mechanisms. There are formal ones, there are informal ones. And I'll get into that in one of the questions or examples. Hold yourself to account. And there's going to teach you. Some people are going to grab their seats from them. Increase team accountability. Don't walk in cliques. Don't walk as a single person. Nobody has a monopoly of knowledge. Imara A, Imara B. Unbiased feedback. Don't feel bad if people criticize you constructively. It helps you. It helps you to grow. There is something that is called constructive criticism, and I will use myself as an example. My mother had 10 children, 5 boys, 5 girls. I'm number 10. Please. Because I'm number 10, I always felt like they were lording it over me. My older sister, who I adore so much, had to call me one day and said, you know, Nne, you're a very intelligent person, but I must be very honest with you. Sometimes the anger in you makes people forget the goodness of your heart. Because I have 9 siblings, but I can say none of them is as kind as you are. This was a constructive criticism. She's my older sister. I love her dearly. They call me Little Uchi. Her name is Uchi. But you see, if I had not stepped back because I had started training myself. You remember when I said, after your parents train you, you have to self-train. I would have probably gotten upset with her, but she was criticizing me constructively. So now what he has done is, over the years, I checkmate myself. I hold myself to account. There are times when somebody will do something, ordinarily 20 years ago I would have flipped. But now, sometimes, no, I smile. If I can't hold myself that people criticize you, you must not frown at it. What you need to do is check whether that criticism is a fair criticism, if it's a constructive criticism. But there are some people who are, as Onyawana, my way or the highway, and that attitude cannot grow anything in the organization. It cannot. So please beware of that. Commitment, competency, and character, relationship, it all includes trust. And when you have that trust deficit, trust credit, relationship will go back. How do you measure your leadership skills? The performance of the group or the team tells you everything you want to know about that group. That's how it also tells you whether you're a good leader. If you're leading a group of people like Otu Umuokpu now, and you call a meeting, out of 60 people, you find only 10 people, 50 take excuse. There may be 20 of them that have genuine excuse, but truly the rest just want to avoid you. That's the truth, it happens. So if you truly want to check the performance of your leadership or followership, you have to be aware of the team. You have to be aware of those emotions. Look at the morale within the team. Look at the morale. There's some people who may not complain, but they start what? Moving away. They start finding excuses not to show up for anything that you are planning. Check that. It says something is wrong. It says there are scars or wounds amongst your members. And if those wounds and scars don't heal, that organization is broken. Not likely to grow, at least not to its optimal capacity. Productivity, results. But even when you get results, at what cost? You may get results because you have a clique of friends, yes members, who are doing this. But what about the rest that you're not carrying along? Your goals, your objectives. What are the values? The strategy. I have said, I use, at least that's one of the areas they find most places I've worked that I have a talent or a skill. I would always say to you, no, it's time to change our strategy. Let's rejig, change things. Because this is not working like it ought to work. So you must think of a strategy group that evaluates, monitors and evaluates you. Align your vision. Make sure it's always about more. And in doing this, for us who work in development, what we do is we do a midterm evaluation and an end-of-year evaluation. All of these are things that you can, either engage a consultant to either do you a paper or something, or explain better to you or something. It's not something that I can cover in this. The team group. If you're being looped in every decision, that's the leader. I guess who asked the question over there. If you assign somebody something and you still want them to loop you in on what is happening, it's a sign that you're limiting their growth. It's a sign that you're not trusting their ability. So you're creating a trust deficit. Confidence, the team confidence will start waning because your hands are there. In the local way, the corporate world is called micromanaging. You're beginning to micromanage people. And don't forget, we're all human beings. We all preach equality. The same thing that we accuse the men of doing, not showing equality to us, you begin to do it to women who are with you. Because you're now thinking, because you're a leader or you have a special position, therefore, you're not answering to anybody. These are things that would affect your leadership skills, but it would also affect the performance or the mission, the objective of your organization. Inspiration. Great leaders are great human beings because they inspire. Remember that Pareto rule, 80-20. Revolution, but just one before that. Ubuntu, I love it very much because it says, I am because we are. Do a quick recap. Listen. Be emotionally intelligent. Look or remember the types of personalities that we are all different, unique, but all good, and we all have values. The values that you bring to the table might not be what I bring, but that doesn't mean that I don't bring values. And your ability to manage and bring all those values together is what diversity is all about. If you can't manage diversity, you're really going to be a good leader. Trust is an essential commodity. You must keep growing your trust and putting it into your pocket. Integrity and character. It's not about you. Do not micromanage. Take responsibility for action. Don't keep blaming other people. Let the language that you speak be the language of we. You are not an island. You are Ubuntu. You are because we are. So, I think I'm going to have to skip and go into recommendations. Trust. It will create relationships. Review your mission goals or the objectives of this organization. Review them. Make sure they are clear. Make sure your vision is very strategic. Professionalism. I am hoping that you people are interested in expanding.
Yes. Yes.
But if you want to truly expand, one of the first things you have to do is raise your game one notch up. What do I mean by that? You've got to stay professional. It can't be business as usual. And I'll give you a couple of examples. Run your accounts like the corporate companies will run their accounts. Don't sign off money on a small post-it note. No. There must be a serious process that an auditor should audit your accounts. And I'm taking this somewhere. I'm taking this conversation somewhere. The reason I'm taking it, thank you. I'm taking this conversation. If you truly want to, the reason I say this is I read part of your mission mandate and I realized you're registered 501c3, right? What a lot of people don't realize, and that's what it's a secret I want to release to you today. Because I have heard from some of you that I managed to speak to, or some who wrote back, that you want to truly be unique. And you want to show that uniqueness. Within this country, there is so much resources that you can tap into. Funding. The mayor's office, the state of Texas, even the federal government. But you can't apply for those funds if you don't run your books professionally. You can't. But those fundings are there. Because in terms of recommendations that I want to give to you, connect yourself to the world. I've spoken about accounts and auditing. Connecting yourself with your mission and your goal, how do you do it? Take up the investment of building up the website by a professional, not look up and real, no. Find a good website builder. Have a strategy session. Have a strategy. Let people throw ideas. And you can actually get somebody to facilitate that. People do it as a job. Have a strategy session that people will give in ideas of what you want to do. And the person who facilitates it for you can then extrapolate what that session offers. That will build into building a website for homework. When you have a website with your mission goals clearly stated, your strategy, then your accounts, you're auditing, you're getting your papers together to be able to apply for, let's say, $100,000 grant. It's possible in this state, I know, because I have researched it. But it has to be, and that's why the key word here is professional, because I've also, not more, but I've also seen cases of legal over that. And that's where you all have to be careful, because you can't venture into that if you're not professional. And I know you have accountants here who are very experienced. I know because I've worked with them. So these are the things you can do. Social media rules the world today, whether you like it or not. You market and you network through social media. Through networking, you demonstrate the value of being a member of Umuokpu. Depending on how your website is created. And through the same website, you can also begin to find partnerships, sister organizations. It could be American organization, but they have the same kind of vision and goals. Because the other way you can strengthen yourself and also grow you is by synergy, building partnerships. Like attracts like. That's a lot of chemistry, right?
Yes.
So, partnerships, it will build synergies. Sponsor local events. Tap into the mayor. You actually have, Mayor Tona is one who loves Nigerians, not just Africans, Nigerians. And so what you can do, but this is after you have sat down to run a strategy session where you pull together ideas and agree in plenary, not one person decided. It could be that Justice Hidalgo is doing some show at Sugarland Festival or whatever, and you go and take a stand there. And instead of eating jollof rice this month, I'm not saying that you should not enjoy or drink your tea. By the way, I found it so funny. When Stella has fathers, whatever, I said, oh, I'm listening, and they are serving tea and bread. I started laughing because it just reminded me of Umwanda back at home. It's a good thing. But that cultural connect or the cultural roots, you can actually share it at some of the local events. I know that they run Africa Festival. You can decide, but this requires planning. You can decide that next year when they're going to have that, you take a stand at that African Festival. And I can, something will come up that will tell your story. So you do that. There's a charity or cultural event that you can say, okay, sponsored by Umuokpu, women's whatever, and take a 1 minute. It could be in a local newspaper. Every county has a newspaper. You put an advert. It could be a regular one. You sponsor a local event. $500, but your name goes in, and that is documented. It's in your report. These are things that you used to build up, because when I'm looking at a funding proposal, I used to also fund projects and organizations. There was a project that I actually funded. It's funny, but I had to go train. I used to train women parliamentarians because one of my areas of expertise is women in leadership. You would have heard Stella speak about how in 2008, with a group of national women's missionaries in the Caribbean, we created the only center for Institute for Women in Leadership in the Caribbean. But in 2005, I had to go and train women parliamentarians in Abuja. And Morrissey, who was the INEC chairperson at the time, I had to use insider connection because my sister used to lecture with him, with Joyce back in the days, and ABC Mosul. And I said to him, Uncle Morris, you got to do something for him. And he awarded 2 extra chairs to women for that national conference that was held under his chairpersonship. One of those women was later appointed an ambassador to Ethiopia, Nkoyo, if anybody knows that. Yeah. She was out of that conference in 2005 in Abuja. So, essentially what am I saying? You got to showcase yourself, sell yourself through networking, through partnership with other people. Think of a yearly workshop, if not even bi-yearly. One of the biggest criticisms, and I can defend this, that I have seen with our people in the diaspora, is they don't invest in upgrading themselves. We are like computers. I mean, operating systems, even your iPhone. Why do you think Apple gets your money every 3 months? They say Apple 13, Apple 14, Apple 20, Samsung 22. But our people will come in, your this, your that, pharmacist, medical doctor, a nurse, MP, and this, and that's it. All you do is that. From $30 an hour, I was 45. But you need to upgrade your skills. You need to upgrade your skills. So think seriously during a strategy session of a yearly or bi-yearly training. Let me give you an example. Capacity building can be on different thematic issues. One of them that I used to I had a former colleague who's back in Zambia. She's a Catholic monk, but we both used to work in the Commonwealth in the gender section, Dr. Zilia Common. And she and I would do sessions on violence against women. We all know the level of gun violence we have in this country now. I don't know if any one of you picked up Ajike Owens, some lady in Florida, whose children, because it's summer, were playing outside and got into some field of the neighbor, and the white woman came out, argument, and she shot the dead. And she's actually not Nigerian. That story said Nigerian, but she's not Nigerian. Even though she's Ajike. So the reason I'm saying this thing is, let's spend time upgrading ourselves. Let's see ourselves as these computer operating systems, and not just stop at from $32 an hour, I'm now earning $40 an hour. Sometimes it's not all about money. And how philanthropy events, both home and abroad. And I thank you so much because I know that you do. I know that you do philanthropy at home. You donate to motherless babies. That's very commendable. But also, because we have resources here that you need to tap, consider seriously also sowing seeds into the thing downtown. So sometimes there's RCCG, Mercy Hall. I know the pastors there. I admire them a lot. Innocent and Christian. What they do is every 2-3 months, they are, because they are registered like you people, and they do background checks and everything, they go to assisted living, sometimes just to cut their grass, help them, whatever. Think of those things. But when you do that, find a way to make sure it is recorded, documented. Not only do you use it to build your own internal books and reports, but you want to use it to be impacting the environment where you are. So that when you're building up a funding proposal request, your community will know this group has been very impactful in our community. And so, because they do this, we're willing to consider them for funding. With the Naira, with the situation of our Naira today, even if they gave you 5 million funding from Anambra State, which I know they won't give, would you compare that to $5,000 or $20,000 here? America won't give you $5,000. They probably will give you $50,000 or $100,000. But you have to prove and show that you can manage it, and this is what you use it to do. So again, midterm, end of year, review yourself, monitor, evaluate yourself, change your strategy if it's necessary. Look at the approaches you do. I don't know if you have all had time to write on paper. Have you? No. Okay. Let's take not more than 5 minutes, please. Not more than 5, because I want to finish the last 2 slides. If you're finished, thank you. While the other ones are coming, please give me some attention. Let me read that song that we have. I would love to see more communication among the whole RSS and love, understanding, with helping hands among ourselves, and carry along everybody so that we do this for ourselves. Some of the words: togetherness, innovative, unity, ethical, love, creative, trust, multifaceted, diverse yet unique, transparent, purposeful, accountability, sustainability, oneness, team players. Not disunity. These are some of the downsides. Cliques, lawlessness, these are the downsides. Self-centered, no communication. So these are things that we need to work on. The budget. Leadership is not great, not very organized, not very motivated, and not very happy, not inspired, not trustworthy. These are challenges. Now, some of what the words that they describe them as: love, unity in diversity. But there's sometimes sectionalism, but still amiable, a work in progress, harmonious, a team, learning experience. Women empowerment, helping widows, sisterly love, encouraging one another, uplifting each other, achieving everything as a group, talking to one another with respect, work as a team, inspire each other. Exquisite, quality, noble, elegant, lovable, intelligent, oneness, unique, humble, integrity. Supportive, commitment, togetherness, love, respect, inclusive, no peace, understanding, encouragement, non-judgmental, peace and love. Is there any other one? And you would agree with me that whether it was the challenges or the inspirational words, we saw some that were repeating themselves from the different people. So that shows that we all have the same mindset. Everybody, one love, unity, sister love, honesty, commitment, caring, growth, unity, love, educated, beautiful, courageous, talented, diversity in nature, intelligent, credibility, integrity, competence, unity in purpose, commitment to one another, teamwork, togetherness, self-respectfulness. I didn't make this up, and different people wrote this. So, if you listen to this, you would actually agree with me, there is more that connects you than divides you. If we all agree that there is more that connects you, yet you're diverse, then your focus ought to be working for the good of the organization. And how you can do it is by getting everybody. If I had asked only one person, Stella or Maria or Eugenia, to write this, they probably would have written 5, 10. But see how many were reading, because everybody is trying to contribute. Inclusivity. So, Ades Yuludiche. Ades Yuludiche. If you are not there, please stand up. At this point, I'm going to be saying thank you for the opportunity. Nation, Messi Boku, Dano, Nagode. Association, networking, community, love, innovating, passion, promotes, friendship, achieve, ethics. And then I started throwing in names. Some I just wrote English names that I heard, or some I thought. There's Nora there, there's Informal Eukarya, there's schools, Uwandu, Milidole, Osodia, Mekele Star, Obidia, John. Please, I didn't, this was just me. I didn't know anybody. But I will also tell you what I want to suggest to you. There's Mazo J, Wankolonama, Ukochinya, Pass, Asama, Obidia, Crystal Diamond, Ife, Franca, Awala Dundodia, Chinya, Queen, Madinobi, Igbo, Chinwe, Mamsina, Chistella, Kapando, Stainless, or the best, now here's the thing. Hold on. This is my suggestion to you, and you don't need to buy it. Some of you, I hear comments, and I truly don't like these sort of things, because I could also throw the ball back at you that I sent out a questionnaire for 1 month and I didn't get a response. So please, let's not go there. I actually practiced law in my other life. Please. What I wanted to suggest to you, some of you would have gone to, many of you would have gone to conferences. Yes. There's something they call a retractable banner that people put up like this. My suggestion to you is, you can decide if you like this sort of mural, and I integrated only 5 minutes of your music into it, but the person who can work with me can integrate the entire music. You don't have to buy the hardware, it's only a suggestion. Yes. And And so if you have like 80 members and you want everybody's names to come, some of those things I wrote, like, I mean, there are people who, I put Stella, because the other Stella in the ethics, in the capacity building, I didn't know how Afro to do. I only know Pamando because I'm very close to Stella. So there are names that are there now, and it can be expanded, that don't need to be there. I put Eukarya, but you know, all of those. So if it's something that you like, yes, you can always recreate now with everybody's names. And if it doesn't fit into one banner, you can make 2 banners. That way, if you have events, you can carry that banner and just set it up. That tells who you are already. This togetherness today. Like I said, in my other life, I used to practice law, and fair is fair. That's how I was taught. If I was to set up a court today, the kinds of comments I'm hearing, you will not win that case. So please, let's not go there. Yes. I did this on my own because 4 people only out of 65 responded to questions. So I will not be vilified by anybody. I expect that people would at least be grateful for the creativity. It's a suggestion. If you like it, you have an opportunity to then integrate everybody's needs. Yes. If you don't like it, we like it. We love it. No problem. But please, this is where I would like to end today's and say thank you again for the opportunity. Already together. It was not easy for us. It wasn't easy. We had so much going on. We had days that we had to argue and argue. We had to rule and overrule. And finally, we are able to come together with this. I also want to note that the government of Anambra State is aware that we had this program today. The Commissioner for Women Affairs was supposed to be here, but for some reason, she couldn't make it because of assignments. And we know that we're going to send this video to her to see what we did. And thank each and every one of us that came. It's not easy. It's not easy for us to do what we're doing. We all have something good, but we all gathered here. And like we keep saying, this is not just for Otu Umuokpu, this is for our lives, our family. In our families, we are leaders. Women are leaders. We lead and show our children good example. She said something today. She said, lead by example. Instead of you screaming, if you know that you want your child to come back early, you have to be making it home early. You cannot come back every day at 1 a.m. or be on the phone talking to friends and you want your child not to do the same. We have to lead by example. We have to also put this in our relationship with our husbands. You see what she said. We have to, that imperfection that we're seeing in our spouse, we have to work around it to make it work. To make it work for us. We always in this association encourage family. We don't encourage so much of separation of family. We encourage family. And we have our vision in this association. She said a lot. We work towards our vision. Because what has happened to us is that at a point, we forgot our vision. We are not following our vision. So we have learned a lot today. So for us to put it in practice, if by any chance we have offended anyone in course of planning this event, we have not done it right the way you think we should do it, you're free to do a constructive criticism. But if you have any concern or anything, feel free to reach the chair of the committee, and next time it will be done better. So saying this, I want to still say thank you to Sister Elsie. Sister Elsie, I love you so much. God bless you. God bless you. You rock. You rock. You rock. You rock. And I want to say thank you to our Nora. She came and she stayed till the end. May God bless you for this vision. If you did not receive the vision, we will not be here today. But we were called and we received the vision. And may God continue to bless you. You will not lack in anything. Your children will prosper. And your name will not be wiped away from the book of life. We thank God for you and your life. Thank God for the President. We thank you. Because if we did not take everything and plan this, we will not come today. The chair of the committee, we thank you so much for all you did. May God bless you. We thank all the members of the committee. God bless you. May God bless you. Our guests, we thank you. Sister Evelyn, we thank you. God bless you. God bless you. So as we step outside, please let us in organized manner take our pictures. And as we leave here, we're not leaving from the presence of God. The presence of God will go with us as we go. So I will say, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Problem in all the finish. We can try to enjoy. While in all the finish. We can try to enjoy. Se kata kata wuru no the finish. We can try to enjoy. Problem in all the finish. So we can try to enjoy. We could dance like Luala. Yeah, Luala. We could dance like Luala. Yeah, Luala. We could dance like Luala. Yeah, Luala. We could dance like Luala. Yeah, Luala.
Why do you come and problem, you know they keep person. That person keep person. But Allah na see finish. That person that person. Problem, you know they last forever. Make you try to enjoy. I walk up from Pelham Mujet to Apollo Meta just to find a mentor. Now who talk they hear what? Now who watch they fear God?
Now so then they call me for fun, say my person. Don't give it person, belle uncle. How will they consign me? How will they consign me? I don't know. Problem in no the finish you. It choke you. Sapana, you be the best friend.
Problem in the finish, so we can try to enjoy. Make we dance like Luala, yeah, Luala. Make we dance like Luala, yeah, Luala. Dance like Luala, yeah, Luala. Dance like Luala, yeah, Luala. Problem in the finish, problem. Dance like Luala. Dance like Luala.